What seemingly insignificant complaint turned out to be so much worse? I thought he just didn't like my new purchase. Now I'm never seeing him again because I'm a low-value woman. My husband and I have been married for 10 years, together since college. Since starting out, we have made financial security a priority and have been able to achieve that, albeit with some good luck along the way. We both have amazing jobs, no student loans, and we live in a house I inherited from my grandmother. We max out our retirement funds and currently have 18 months of expenses in our emergency fund and are still adding to it. Our cars are both paid off and should be good for another 5+ years, and we don't have any credit card debt. We manage our finances in a hybrid manner, joint accounts for bills and savings, and separate accounts for our fun money. The fun money is strictly for our individual expenses such as hobbies, clothes, outings with friends, etc. Not for things like date nights, vacations, or larger joint purchases like household appliances and repairs that come out of our joint account. We also agreed that if either of us gets any bonuses or has any side hustle income, those will go into our individual fun money accounts, unless the funds are needed for a larger expense such as a major home repair. In terms of the fun money, my husband is much more of a spender than I am due to expensive hobbies. He's into golf and collecting sports memorabilia, and he's also more into designer clothes, all of which is fine. It's his fun money. On the other hand, my hobbies are a lot less expensive: running, working out, reading, and baking. In general, I'm more introverted, and a great time for me is tea with a friend at one of our homes, with homemade pastries. I have also been getting back into gaming lately after setting it aside for much of the past decade while building my career. After realizing I had more than enough in my fun money account, I decided to overhaul my gaming setup and got myself a new PC, desk, and gaming chair. I ended up splashing a whopping $5,000 on it all. However, upon hearing about the purchase, my husband was furious. He says he had no idea I had saved so much money and that I should have consulted him before spending $5,000. I asked what difference it made if it was my own accrued fun money and not our joint funds, and he insisted that my accumulating this amount, without telling him, was a form of financial cheating. He said he lost trust in me and didn't know what else I might be hiding. He demanded that I return the items I purchased and deposit most of the funds to our joint account. He wanted to make a new rule that fun money accounts can't accumulate more than $2,000 and that any excess goes back to the joint account. A rule that would obviously favor him as a person who spends most of his allotment each month, instead of saving up for anything bigger. I felt like I was being punished for being more of a day-to-day saver than a spender. It wouldn't occur to me to demand to know how much my husband has in his fun money account, or to try to micromanage what he spends it on. I wasn't hiding anything deliberately. He never asked about it until after I made the purchases. My husband finally calmed down enough to have a conversation with me. Turns out, it wasn't really about the money, but it was about some larger issues in our relationship. Essentially, my husband has been feeling increasingly unhappy with me for a while. He remarked that, since getting back into gaming a few months ago, I have been putting a bit less effort into cooking. It's true that I have been fixing simpler meals instead of elaborate meals with fussier foods and several sides. He has also noticed that I haven't been doing the elaborate table settings I used to with flowers on the table, fancy placemats, etc. Honestly, I didn't realize he noticed or cared about this, but apparently, he did. Acts of service are one of his main love languages, so overall he felt a little neglected because of this. He also felt like I was not putting enough effort into my appearance, not in terms of my body, but in terms of things like clothes, hair, etc. It's true that I've never paid much attention to these things given that I work at home in tech. The standard for appearances is extremely low, and I far exceed that. I tend to buy simple, practical clothes at places like Target and Walmart, don't wear much makeup, and keep my hair in a simple ponytail. I do glam up a lot more for date nights and other dressy occasions, but most days he comes home from work to find me in a t-shirt and yoga pants with no makeup, and he wanted me to make more of an effort. The bottom line is that because of all these things, he had started to notice other women. He said he hadn't cheated, but just noticed other people because he was regularly disappointed in me. In particular, Given that he works in finance, there are a good number of very career oriented type A women who manage to have fantastic bodies, be effortlessly polished and glamorous, and have more interesting hobbies. He also said he felt horrible about all this because he knows I am a good person, and that he's being judgmental. That it's not so much I've changed as that his own goals and expectations have changed in the past couple of years. The financial cheating part came into it because he felt I was not really investing in myself and our relationship, thus cheating on our future in a sense. So, the more I thought about it, the more his demands were sitting poorly with me. I decided to try a little experiment over the weekend to see what would happen if I tried to meet some of his demands. Not because I actually thought they were reasonable, but because I increasingly had the sense that the goalposts would just keep moving and that I was playing a losing game. So, Saturday morning, I went to the salon for a haircut, fresh highlights, and a mani-pedi, then went to the farmer's market to pick up fresh flowers for our table and assorted other gourmet ingredients. Saturday is usually our date night out, but I suggested we stay in so I could make us a special dinner, steakhouse style. I wore his favorite color, lavender, on a sheath dress and high heels, and fully done hair and makeup. For all that, I got a lukewarm, "Thanks. It was tasty," and a kiss on the cheek. Of course, I did all the serving and cleanup. Sunday we usually go out, but he suggested I make us brunch at home. So I made French press coffee, mimosas with fresh squeezed orange juice, Belgian waffles with a bananas Foster topping, eggs scrambled with parmesan and fresh herbs from our garden, roasted fingerling potatoes, and maple glazed bacon. I wore a blue sleeveless sundress and wedge sandals, and again did my hair and makeup. Again, I got a "thanks, it's good," and no help with serving or cleanup. Afterward, I asked if this was what he had in mind when he critiqued me before. He said that it was a start, but that I was acting very entitled for wanting credit for basic adulting. He then dropped a bomb that he was being so hard on me because he had realized lately I had a lot to make up for due to my being a low-value woman. I asked what on earth he meant by that, and he said it was because I wasn't intimately pure when we met. WTF. Keep in mind we started dating at 21, and neither of us claimed to be intimately pure or stated that as an expectation. Except for very religious people, I don't think most 21-year-old college students are intimately pure. I was upfront with him then that I'd had two previous partners, my high school boyfriend and another boyfriend I'd had my first year of college. That was it. Both committed relationships and nothing casual. He then went on to say that because of my low value, I was going to need to be making it up to him for the rest of my life. That I didn't deserve monogamy or equal treatment, and that I was lucky that anyone at all wanted to marry me. He explained that he's connected with someone from work, so if I wanted to keep him, I'd better step up. I told him it didn't sound like there was anything to keep if he no longer loved me, or even liked or respected me. Told him to leave, and he said he would gladly go to his girlfriend's place. I know so many people here insisted he was having an affair, and I just didn't want to see it, that his complaints were really all part of a campaign to distance himself from me. I feel so foolish for just thinking he was going through a stressful time at work, or that he genuinely wanted to work on our marriage. Anyway, I have taken the week off from work to get my head together. Have an appointment with a lawyer tomorrow. Canceled our marriage counseling appointment, but got a referral to an individual therapist who can do an intake session with me later in the week. He and the girlfriend, apparently, are coming this evening to get more of his clothes and things, so I have to brace myself for that. I know the divorce won't be fun or easy, but I will be okay. I'm glad I was able to see that I was being played before I wasted too much more time in a marriage that was already over.